there's a deadly combination in churches today. Know what it is? Ego and apathy. It's a perfect combination if you want to render the church ineffective. If you want to cultivate a church of infants and a leader who really doesn't have to be that much more mature than the infants, it's perfect. But it doesn't produce anything like the kind of church Jesus desires, where every member is maturing and understanding their gift, cultivating their gift, and then adding it back into the whole. Like, if you really want to see how immature the average Christian is, see how they interact on social media. See how they argue, see how they fight, see how they put people down, see how they are contentious, see how they lack even the most basic characteristics of Christ. See how they lack every single fruit of the Spirit. And then you have to wonder, if these are dedicated Christians going to church every Sunday, what the hell are their pastors like? Like, screw the whole Christ-like character, screw following Jesus, screw becoming like Jesus, screw having to change much of anything at all in your internal heart. But hey, look at what we're doing corporately, and that just equals out to what you're doing individually. Even though you're not doing a damn thing for Christ at all. I mean, you see what I mean? You got pastors and church leaders that are very happy to control people that are very docile and want to be controlled. And that's a perfect combination to ultimately destroy the church and render it ineffective. But guess what? Maturity is relative, right? Like, how would you know? You just know what's around you, right? Maybe you're becoming more mature in view of the pastor's maturity, but how mature is he or she, right? It's relative. How do you know? You can't tell. All you know is what you know, and you're conditioned by leaders that want to control, and what they're feeding you information, but no spiritual formation, right? They're telling you you're learning the truths, but what's your character like? Well, that's the problem. As long as you're better than the world, but what if the world is getting worse and worse and worse, then the church is just better than the world, and so the church is getting worse and worse and worse, but at least they can say they're better than the culture around them. Wow. That's what we call a sliding scale. That's what we call a slippery slope. That's what we call the church following the world into hell just a few steps behind. And that's where we are. Because you have pastors that don't really care to develop congregants, who are threatened actually by congregants. And that's been my experience, guys. Here's how you really tell if your church has fallen into this trap, this ego apathy trap. Start to grow. You'll find out if you really start to seek Christ, grow into the Spirit, follow the Spirit. If you really start to be a mature believer in your church, you'll find out if your church is in this ego apathy trap, because as you grow, your church will reject you more and more, and your pastor will be more and more threatened by your maturity and spiritual giftedness. That's how you know. That's what happens if you start to wake up, you start to mature, you start to grow. If you're in one of these ego apathy churches, you'll find out real quick, because you can't be controlled. You'll be put out. You'll be challenged, you'll be silenced, you'll be shunned, you'll be labeled bad. It doesn't matter what you do, it matters that you're not doing what you're supposed to do, not doing what the people in charge tell you what to do. That's how you find out whether or not you're in a real church or a fake church. That's my new term for the contemporary mainstream Christian evangelical church in America. It's the fake church. looks like the church, acts like the church, but underneath the surface veneer, not any real depth of Christ at all. And you can tell because if it acts like the world, smells like the world, tastes like the world, looks like the world, but calls itself Christian, it's not. Seriously though, guys, it's time to stop playing games. Stop playing church. Stop pretending. Stop acting like it's okay to live just like the world. To enjoy the things of the world. To look just like the world, act just like the world. It's not your Christian philosophy that sets you apart. It's your Christian character. And if pastors don't have it, congregants probably won't catch the scent of it. If pastors are just like worldly leaders, controlling, top-down authoritarian, can't be challenged, can't be questioned, well, they're not mature either. It's not a product, it's not a service, it's not programs, it's not a building, it's not even a group of people. It's individuals who really have a passion to go the way of Christ, which is the cross, who really have a desire to surrender their own will, their own ego, their own desires, their own pleasures, and really lose their life to find it. It's pretty much the opposite of the American dream and the American church that has adopted the American dream and called it God's blessing.